Good morning, everyone. If I can figure out how this program works, done forgot. I need you to do me a favor. Forget the No Kings marches. I need you to march for no princesses. Can you do that?
Life is a funny old broad. She keeps you guessing.
Well, again, good morning. My name is Angela, middle initial K, last name Durden, and this is the Constrained View. Now, I told you not to march for no kings anymore, but to march for no princesses, because here's why. You see, I am a grab your waders, grab your potato rake, and dig into the beaver dam that is flooding the fields kind of gal. Okay? That's my mindset. I don't mind getting dirty. I don't mind breaking a sweat, except lately because my body's a princess. What can I say? It's very particular and it is acting like a monarch in waiting. It's all about her. So that's why I need y'all to march for no princesses. Tell my body to stop being so royal, if you get my drift. Okay. So today we are going to talk about Facebook. Let me show you a picture that I found that I it's not a picture. I did a screenshot. I'm going to add it to the stage. This was a Facebook post, and it says something about, let's see, the Hunqui Bridge was completed earlier this year as part of a highway linking Sichuan to Tibet and the nation's heartland. This was a big deal. I mean, they went all out to talk about it. When I say they, I mean the CCP. Um, they hailed this as awesome, as connecting these two sides of this big area. Bridges are supposed to save time. That's why they go across rivers or they go across ravines, at which point they are saving everybody the time from going up and around. That's what they're supposed to do. Well, this bridge was built, and 3, 4, 5 months later, well, you can see from the picture of the New York Post reporting on it, it collapsed. Now, you may have already heard about this, and you're saying, Angela, so what? Well, let me tell you, I did a screenshot, and I just printed it out, of the community notes at the bottom down here. And I'm going to tell you something. This screenshot, this community note doesn't say who wrote it. It says something that reads like, what's the word? Like CCP propaganda. See if you can pick it out. The community note says, here it is. Newly constructed Honghui Bridge in China partially collapses. A section of the newly inaugurated Honghui Bridge in China's Sichuan province collapsed into a river after a landslide just months after opening. Authorities said there were no reports of any casualties. Well, do I really trust the CCP authorities? No, I do not. But newly constructed Honghui Bridge in China, what did it say it did? Partially collapsed. See, the rest stood up. So it was a feat of magical engineering and awesomeness. Well, this reads like it's saying, well, the New York Post headline is incorrect. When the New York Post headline says the bridge collapsing months after opening, well, that's what happened. The bridge collapsed. Just because part of it didn't fall doesn't mean that the bridge is now no longer usable. And I don't know if they had cut off people using it so that there were no casualties. That bridge was heavily used by big rigs. So I have this feeling that somebody died. But it's that tofu dregs. It's called tofu dregs construction. And it goes up fast, goes up cheap, and it comes down fast, and it comes down hard. So anyway, here is a new thing that I've not seen on Facebook before called Community Note. Twitter has the community notes that I actually had been invited to join to test whether or not these notes were accurate. I stopped doing it after a while because it was infiltrated by propagandists. It was easily seen. I tweeted out to Elon that this was happening. Don't know if he saw it, but you got to speak up. Well, Facebook community notes, it's already infiltrated. Look at this. It only partially collapsed. A bridge that is only partially there is of no use. But that's not what they want you to think. They want you to think the New York Post lied. That's called propaganda. That's just called propaganda. Well, anyway, this leads us to another post on Facebook called by a lady by the name of Patricia, and it's either Anthone or Anthony. It ends with an N-E, so I don't know which way she pronounces it. But she wrote that democratic socialism equals the weaponization of democracy. Yeah, I could say that in a big way. That's a correct statement. But she was actually talking about Colorado's new free for all, free for everyone, that is students in school, 2 free meals per day, breakfast and lunch, no matter what. You didn't have to prove that you were poor. You didn't have to say I don't have any money. It's going to be free for everybody. And there was a reason for that they sold it this way. They said they did not want any student to have the stigma of being a charity case. And by now offering free to everybody, you were free from any stigma that there was a class in society. Well, number one, classes in America, you can be poor, you can be rich, you can be middle class. See, there's that word class, middle class. These may be classes in the general sense of categorizing how much money you have, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with any socioeconomic strata in which you were born or which you now find yourself. That's not how we think in the United States. It's not how we think at all. What we do not like is when somebody takes advantage of whatever strata they're in to cheat others, to excuse bad behavior, which you can do in every single one of those, can't you? You can be poor and say, well, I'm robbing you. And if you don't give me what you got, well, then you hate poor people. That guilt trip thing. So it's okay if I steal because I'm poor. And nobody will help me. Okay. So somebody gives me money, or I take money. What do I spend it on? Wine, women, and song. Drugs. Whatever. But it's this thought that the stigma is involved in taking help that's freely given. I grew up poor. I mean, really poor. My sister and I shared a lunch box, okay? A lunch box. I was in second grade. She was in first grade. My mother put our lunch in there, which was enough for, um, usually is enough for one kid. She put a sandwich. She put a boiled egg. Um, there was no thermos. She gave us maybe a nickel apiece to get a carton of milk, which you could get. And I would, my sister would eat half the sandwich and half the egg and have her milk. She would then carry her lunchbox to me, which is in second grade, ate after first grade. And, I'd sit in the class. Every kid that brought their lunch sat in the class. Milk was brought to them when they paid for it in the morning when roll was called. Yes, yes, teacher, I have a nickel. I want to buy some milk. And so all that was noted. Nobody made fun of it. It was how it was. And there was nothing wrong with it. I don't recall unable to do my work. I don't recall anybody ever making fun of that at all. But Patricia makes the note, a point, I should say. Let me read it to you. The perennial socialist promise of the hated other guy will carry the cost. So the rich people will carry the cost of the poor was only made to get this particular Colorado thing passed. And the next point she says is, but by the time that becomes obvious, Colorado's public school families will have been conditioned to consider serving breakfast and packing lunch for their own children to be an unbearable hardship. It's all about the nanny state. The nanny state. What was that? Mamdani, Zoran Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York City, who is imploding fast. Please send me money. I didn't need money before, but I need money now to get my transition team up and running. He doesn't know how to plan. He doesn't know anything. And yet, what's he doing? He's already gone against federal law, state law, and city law about rent controls and free places to live and free food and what was it? Oh, yeah, free bus rides, subway rides. The state has already made these decisions. The federal government has already made these decisions based upon sound planning and sound ways of doing things. But Zoran, cute, pretty, his eyes twinkle just so. He likes to get out there and be young and handsome. And the girls go, ooh, even though most of them say they're lesbians. Uh-oh, did I just say something bad? I just said something bad. Oh, well. He has decided to put a burdensome cost on those with money, which, by the way, he's one of the ones with money. Personal family money. Yet he goes around acting like he's a poor guy and he understands their pain. No, he doesn't. He doesn't understand it at all. Patricia goes on to say, a straight up flex of democracy weaponizes the majority by offering to let them take by vote from voters they resent but greatly outnumber. It's a flex of their muscle. It's not going to turn out well for New York. I think the reason Zoran had an easier time winning and Cuomo didn't, and of course we all knew that that Sliwa was never going to win. He doesn't have what it takes to be the mayor. Now, I think he makes a great guy that has contributed to the safety of New York because that's how he got his start, was wearing that red I don't want to call it a bandana. What was it? A beret, red beret. Him and his fellow volunteers who went around patrolling the streets and keeping crime down because the police couldn't or wouldn't. He did great with that, and that's what he's good at. He's a good support for the city. He is not someone who is a leader of a large area with all the problems that that sort of thing uh, brings on. So it's too bad that Sliwa lost, and too bad that Cuomo couldn't pull a rabbit out of the hat that time, and it's too bad that Mamdani did win. But I think he won because there's already been a massive exodus, and it's soon to get much more massive, of people who would have voted for Cuomo, even though he's a jerk. He was still did pretty good in looking after the city. He was still a jerk, and or the state, I should say. He's still a jerk, but he had his priorities straight for the most part. But anybody that would have voted for him, most of them have already moved out. They're gone. And why is that? Because it's been a gradual lessening of leadership based on sound financial principles, and they just can't do it anymore. So that's what that led to. And now we're going to be having more troubles. Well, listen, everybody, I'm going to say goodbye for today, and we'll see you more later. Bye-bye.
She treats you right.